We are live. This is the market update. The market is down and you don't know what to do. I can help. If the market's down and you need a plan, I will give you one. Protect your capital and get ready for the dip, the big dip, where you can hoover it in. Want to see the charts? Inverted yield curve, inflation. Ooh. We'll talk about that. Let's take a moment to welcome who's on the show. But first, a reminder, if you need a roadmap in crypto, subscribe to this channel. Turn on alerts so you know when we're going live. And if the content works for you, smash the like button. All right, let's see who we got here. We got Shizzy DeFi. Welcome. Daniel J. Jersey. Right? Ken Brumfield, Tito, Samad, D-Jack, JP Stanley. Wrong again. Welcome. AZ, Relax 82, right? Giving me some love there. Bull Runner 76, Andre, Philip, Crypto and the Matrix. Philip, Joseph from Brazil, London, England. JP Stanley going diamond hands, right? Megan is here. Welcome. Moon Sector 7 with the sheepdog love. Richard from Saskatchewan, Canada. God, it's got to be cold up there, right? Reverend Flashback from Germany, Space Cadet from Down Under, Willimeter, East Tennessee, Philip, Bola, give me some good news to keep me warm in Norway. I don't know, man. We'd have to burn the market down to keep you guys warm with what's going on. There is a 100-degree temperature difference between the top part of the United States and the tip of Florida. And they laughed at me when I talked about weird weather this year. Kenneth here from South Dakota, Crypto Predator from Romania. Elijah from West New York. Okay, Wrong Again is asking, is this the end of the month Manipula Madness or a bearish U-turn? I think it's just a good old-fashioned flash crash. Right? One of the things you have to deal with in bull markets or in markets in general is, people get too bullish on the way up and then they get caught. Now, I was too bullish at the top. And then if you look at the thumbnails on the YouTube channel, I was like, okay, let's turn this around and jump into capital preservation. Now, that said, this inflation data that came out today is not as horrible as everyone thinks. People are way too bearish on stocks. Way too bearish. Okay. Stocks are probably going to puke for 2 weeks. And Chris, crypto people, we want to be ready for that. But when everybody gets short in the hole in equities, that's probably going to be an opportunity for crypto. So we have to deal with 30 days of, I don't know, what is it? 30 days of that. Figure out support levels and go from there. All right. Let's go. I'm going straight to news and live TA today. Can't even PowerPoint this thing. It's too volatile. Okay. Just noticing what Bloomberg looks like, right? Stock traders hit the sell button in 2023. Worst week ever. Okay. Fed must do a little more to tame inflation. Okay. There's a lot of disaster out there, but let's just think about it for a second. Fed's preferred inflation gauge accelerates, adding pressure for more rate hikes. Okay, that's the headline. So algos work off the headline. Now, I'm going to find the write-up. Here's where the inflation surge came from. So just to be clear about this, the Fed's new, indicator of the day is PCE. So it takes into account, spending, and it's a new metric for inflation. Now, PCE was much higher than expected. Okay. And then as shown in the chart below, why did personal income and thus the outlays, savings, and PCE inflation all surge so much more than income? In other words, why was it so hot? Well, it's because personal current taxes went down. What? Yeah. People paid less taxes last month. Democrats quietly become the party of tax cuts? We doubt that. But what it says is, and this is the key part, we doubt anything explains what happened. Instead, the likely answer is a combination of state tax cuts, changes in income tax brackets, seasonal approximations of actual tax payments, and other components. In other words, there was like a little tax math. So the markets are like, oh my God, the Fed's going to go hysterical. And of course, the Fed is going to react to this. But is the Fed going to overreact to it? Like, does this warrant like a mega crash? Maybe it warrants a flash crash because everyone panics on the close. So this is being done Friday on February 24th. But obviously, this drop in taxes is what caused the economy to go hot. Now, new home sales were up, right? New home sales did spike up. I'm trying to find that. And that's retail buying the dip in housing. U.S. new home sales unexpectedly soared in January as prices plunged. Well, of course, retail's like, oh, look, a dip. And they buy the first dip. And what did I say in crypto a couple days ago? You can buy a dip, just don't buy the first dip. Don't buy the first dip when you're going to avalanche like this. Retail just bought the dip in housing. Good luck with that. Stuff's got 40% more to fall, especially if you have a sticky mortgage rate near 8%, right? It's like cattle to the slaughter almost. They're buying houses and selling stocks when they should be selling houses and buying stocks potentially. Now let's talk about why. Just gauging some sentiment. So this is DC, smartest guy in the whole market with like 3,000 Twitter followers. I swear to God, this guy, I know him. He sits in his office and he makes these charts and studies the market. I don't know. He's just the smartest guy in the market. Okay, listen to this. Retail, as in equity market investors, okay? Retail incessantly short top line U.S. indices with leverage, 1x, 2x, 3x inverse ETFs. So in crypto terms, it's like, leverage on your exchange. They're 3x levered. Their favorite is SQQQ, 3x short NASDAQ 100 or Web 2, whose shares outstanding hit an all-time high this week. They just can't get short enough. This while NDX remains, relatively subdued. And here it is, man. Only he can write this. Negativity bias is blinding. It's blinding. Corrections look nasty. We discussed 2009 and 2010. We discussed how every time the market went down, guys like me got fooled. We got fooled. And we thought the market was going to hell in a handbasket. You look at this tape today, and it looks like it's going to zero. It looks like the big short all over again. Now, I'm sticking with my guns where I'm saying this is like a flash event. You get down, down, way down, and then it comes back. This is just a gigantic stop flush. How long is it going to last? Days, weeks? I don't know. Most important thing is make sure you preserve capital so that when the time comes to get ready for the summer rally, you have money. And all weekend, and this is probably going to close horrible today, by the way. All weekend, everyone's like, oh my God, it's going to zero. It might. They might flush everybody out. They might flush everybody out. But that doesn't mean the market's no good. It just means they're going to flush everyone out. Now, there is a case for broader downside. We'll talk about it, and we'll talk about how to not be dogmatic. In other words, I think this is a nasty dip in a bull market. If that turns out to be wrong, I'm going to show you how not to get killed. right? In case these Bitcoin 14K guys are right. Okay, general news. Montana comes to the rescue of crypto miners. Okay, I love this. I love it. But, you know, the media is full of bullish crypto news again. China appears to be pulling a U-turn, saying it'll promote the use of AI in daily life just days after reports it blocked ChatGPT. Folks, I got news for you. Again, according to Kai-Fu Lee, the Chinese have built whole cities to operate on AI, if that book is to be believed. So ChatGPT this morning, I wanted to generate some hashtags for the stream, and you know, it couldn't keep up with what I was asking it to do. I had to do it one step at a time. So love ChatGPT, but don't buy this whole idea that, oh, the Chinese are allowing AI. The Chinese are probably ahead of us in AI. Okay. Stablecoin dominance at 9-month low after SEC targets the Binance USD. Okay, that's versus last year. I'm guessing that stablecoin dominance is going a lot lower. Like, this is a double top up here. And stablecoin dominance is probably going back to where it was in 2020. Now, I don't know where that is. Okay. I don't know if they have it on TradingView. Maybe we can look it up or for another stream. One thing I want to remind everybody, people who have to get out of stable coins are going to look at a 10 to 15% drop in Ethereum and go, oh, God, thank God we didn't have to buy all this at the top. So they can just slowly get out. And that's where there's going to be an organic bid for crypto, right? So retail, to review, retail buys equities. I'm sorry, retail buys houses, sells equities, and pukes crypto to institutions. That's probably what's going to go on here over the next 72 hours. I would prefer you adjusted risk now. So if that happens, you can either take advantage of it or not have your head get screwed up by it. Colombia just held a court hearing in the Metaverse. You know, everybody laughed at me in December when I said the Metaverse is coming back. The Metaverse is coming back. The problem is that now everyone's like, oh, the Metaverse is coming back. Let's go to the crypto casino at the top. And I'm like, oh, no. You know, like when the media was all negative, I was like, oh, my God, buy everything. Now the media is going all positive. So while this development is important, it goes back to what I was saying at the top of the show. Web 2 is going to disappear unless they buy or get involved in Web 3. You're going to have partnership after partnership after partnership announced. And that's going to go on all summer long. So before you get all negative and say, oh, you know, Bitcoin's going to 14K, and it might, just a brief word on that. If Bitcoin goes to 14K, you won't want to buy it. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, there's great support down here. Yeah, there is. But anything that makes Bitcoin go down to 14K is going to be bad. Yesterday, we talked about the inverted yield curve. I talked to the Gold Retriever, a private webinar about that. In other words, if there's something out there and Bitcoin actually makes a new low, it could be worse. You know, in other words, that would be something terrible happening. So you won't want it. Everyone's like, yeah, I want to buy it at 14K. Okay, I'll come back and check with you on that. Dapper Labs CEO confirms another round of layoffs. One of the most brutal parts about a crypto bear market is that it doesn't take effect until after all the selling abates and the market actually goes up. Like these downdrafts that remind everybody of the bear market are actually more shocking and more depressing than it was when everybody was like at battle stations during FTX, right? This creates this fear and this unease. And like I said, if you get a flash crash, it's going to create fear. But I think fear is an opportunity. The question is, where is the support point? Emojis count as financial advice and have legal consequences. Okay. Former SEC branch chief warned the public of the legal consequences of using emojis. Okay. That's good to know. You know, they like emojis in YouTube titles, not investment advice. We try to put that on everything we can. Here's the deal, folks. Technical analysis is not investment advice. It's just technical analysis. Now, if you put a rocket ship emoji in a title and the government wants to get us in trouble with that, well, they're the government. If we can't use that emoji, we can't use that emoji. But in my view, helping people is important. It is. Helping people is important. So if I have to use an emoji, I'll try to be judicious, but guidance and research is not investment advice. U.S. drug enforcement agencies seized 1.8 million from Binance. Let me ask you something. Do you have any idea how much the dollar value of money laundering that gets identified inside the legacy system every year? Here's a huge hint. It's 100 times bigger than 1.8 million, right? If they're still picking on Binance, they're still bearish. And there's still hope for crypto. Because again, if they love their disaster stuff and retail just will not stop being negative, okay, I'm going to stay positive. When you got to get worried in equities is when retail gets bullish, which could happen at the end of a monster summer rally. In other words, wouldn't it be sick if retail got short in the hole in equities in March, then this thing turned around? Okay. I know that's long into the future and everybody's worried whether or not ETH's going to go to, you know, is 1,600 going to hold or is it going to go to 1,300? I get it, but always keep the big picture in mind as best you can. Tokens of optimism ecosystem surge as Coinbase unveils its layer 2. I really hope this works better than MATIC. I sold NFTs last night. As, you know, there was some sort of a little bit of open sea FOMO, you know, to pull out some ETH. You know, I went to liquidate the ETH this morning, moving MATIC ETH to the Ethereum blockchain. This thing just got hung up. I let it sit there. It told me 3 hours, 45 minutes to 3 hours. I refreshed the screen, signed the transaction, and ETH had already dropped like 8%, 6% from where I started last night. Somebody's got to come up with a better layer 2 solution. MATIC helps get people in cheap, but, you know, my experience with it, now I know why, you know, some of these guys on Twitter, these counter traders, macro guys, why they hate it. Hate it. Cost me money today. Blockchain and crypto education becomes priority at U.S. universities. Well, that took long enough. You know, kids have been into this for a long time. You know, I remember I went to buy a phone. And, you know, somebody like 20-somethings helping me out. It's like, what do you do for a living? I'm like, well, I do YouTube and I'm a financial analyst. And she's like, what's your Twitter? And she pulls it up and goes, hey, it's Notorious Bill. I'm like, yeah. She's like, cool. You know, it's like, you know, prior to meeting my girlfriend, if I went up to somebody my age and said, hey, I do crypto on YouTube, they'd be like, oh, that's nice. Kids love this shit, man. They love it. Give it to them. Give them crypto. This is a great picture, by the way. Great. Teach crypto to the kids. Okay. That's kind of the positive pep talk. Let's discuss ETH. Let me talk to the chat first. We got 100 messages on the stream. By the way, people, we're up to 1.3K. 1,300 people are watching this show every day. And let me personally thank each and every one of you. Thank you. Tell your friends, smash the like button. We want to get to 300 likes. Okay, so we have Aiken here. Does the Ukrainian war budget commitment correlate to central bank justification to keep propping up the markets regardless? Okay, the Ukrainian war budget, it's kind of a drop in the bucket for the Fed. Drop in the bucket, right? It's like, you know, the Fed does however many billion, you know, can print however many billions they've given Ukraine. I think we're just giving the Russians a hard time. The Russians gave us a hard time in the 70s in Vietnam, right? So did the Chinese. So we're just giving them a taste of their own medicine. I don't think Ukraine and the Fed are connected. However, I don't have the headline up in front of me, but I did see the Chinese put out a headline. This is the second time that they want a peaceful end to Ukraine because they don't want any more inflation and they don't want any more Fed rate hikes. When the Fed sees inflation and responds with rate hikes, it basically creates a countdown of a possible detonation of the Chinese property sector. War is inflationary, and the Chinese don't want more inflation and higher rates. They can't take it. I don't blame them. Now, I don't say much nice things about communist governments. I don't blame them. I mean, Putin is so laughably hosed in this war. I mean, the reason the Ukrainians are winning is because I think Russian communications, if I understand it correctly, they're not encrypted. So every time they talk on the radio, you know, my daughter can hear it on her stereo. So, you know, I know, like I was on with a show with a guy who's really smart, right? And he was talking about World War III. Okay, my thinking on World War III is that nobody's desperate enough yet. Like the Ukrainians have got what they need from us. As long as they don't start hitting Russia proper. I would be scared if somebody like Putin actually was removed from power and somebody worse came in. Then tactical nukes come into play. But I still think that that's later. I know we've got an eclipse in April and wacky stuff can happen in advance of an eclipse, like in March. Okay, so I'm not saying scary stuff can't happen. I just think it's more for the fall. Okay, King is like, is the bottom in? I would say no, but I do like this bounce. It's encouraging. It reaffirms that, you know, the algo sold it off the PCE headline, but the details are actually different. And crypto coming back is a good thing. Just that, you know, what the suck factor in equities is, we don't know. Okay, Relax82 is giving me some love, saying this channel is highly undervalued. I like that. Thank you. Okay, D is like, tell me something good. Okay, well, something good is that ETH put in a 13 bottom, hit a DeMark support point for a blow off for a selling climax, and bounced. I'll take it. Right? If you look at ETH on a 4-hour chart, okay, you know, it just doesn't look that good, right? You have 1 through 9. That's the setup phase. So this counts a set of conditions. Like the low is lower than the low 2 days ago. And then if that's true, you get a number. And if it's true, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row, you get that big fat 9. And that tells you one of two things. One of two things. Either it's the low or of a range, or it's a pause in a trend. So set up 1 through 9, bounce the other way, and then downtrend resumption. Yikes. So downtrend resumption usually has these red numbers going to like a 13. So this is a 4-hour chart. So we may have another 24 hours of lag. So if you got stuff that you got to sell or you got to adjust your portfolio, 1,600 ETH actually sounds pretty good to me. It's if you got to get out. Okay. Bitcoin, right? See, this is what bothers me about this market. I pulled this up this morning and I was like, oh shit. Right. 23,700 looked like it was going to hold. It didn't. It went, the 13 bottom came in and the market collapsed anyway. It went through the selling climax point. Now it's coming back to it at 23,387. So awesome looking reversal, because I was looking for down, 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 come back. All I can say is beware the failed rally. I know you need me to be psychic. I would prefer to be adjusting portfolios on up moves, right? Take profits, reduce the size of the portfolio. In other words, if you took half the size you had off on a rally, then you'd have dry powder if it went down. And then if it turns around and this was all bunk and it turned around and went up, okay, well, we can get back in, right? But I don't want to be like headed into a really nasty March, cowboy bullish. Now, that said, if you're a trader or if you missed the boat, not to talk out of both sides of my mouth, but you know, if you see this candlestick and this holds at the end of the day and you want to try to be long for like a trade, try it. Try it. It's not a bull market until you can buy a dip and make money. And so far, everybody that's tried to buy the dip is getting hosed. Now, what I was thinking in ETH, I was thinking 1482 is juicy. That's what I was thinking. Okay, so this is a 2-day chart of ETH. So some crypto comedy here. So for all the hysterics, oh my God, the Fed. Oh my God, the Fed. So sick of people freaking out about the Fed. Do you realize ETH just retraced 23%? 23% retracement of the overall move up was at 1583. And like I said, it looks kind of nice. You know, they went down, they ran the stops, and they brought it back up. Now, I don't know that this looks good because I don't like these divergences where, you know, ETH makes a series of new highs on the 2-day chart, you know, and the momentum indicator makes lower highs. That's why I don't want to buy the first dip, because normally it goes down. The stochastics will actually go to oversold. There'll be a small bounce, and then the hammer drops. So I'm thinking 1488, worst case 1331. I guess the worst case is all these like mega bearish new low guys are right. I'm not in that camp. I want to take it from them when people are freaking out and losing it. So if you have to adjust risk, I say adjust risk now. Frankly, a lot of people are like, the sky is falling. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a correction. Okay. Huckleberry Native is here. Welcome. Blood in the streets. Okay. DJack is here. BTC wicked to 22.5 on Coinbase. Stops getting run. Tolga is here from Turkey. Welcome. And I hope you and your loved ones are okay. Welcome to our show. Okay. Wolf of Crypto, give you some love. Bull Runner, Luis, Mimi. All right. I appreciate all that. Donna, if you're out there, we appreciate you. These emojis are now considered as investment advice due to expecting a return on investment. The rocket ship, the market going, the arrow, the chart going up, and the dollar sign. Okay. You know, I've been in this business since 1991. I don't want to get hosed and dragged off in chains over an emoji. King, election day in Nigeria. Nigeria. Somebody wants to know, Alice, why is silver so suppressed relative to gold? All right, let's look at this. And then, you know, we'll just like rip through some of the big cryptos. Okay. Just to drive this home, the thing that's so scary about the market is that everything is down. Everything, right? Even VIX is barely up. It's weird. All commodities are down. Gold, silver. These are all stocks, crypto related, and tech stuff. Coinbase down 7%. You know, The euro and sterling are down because the dollar is up, and then all crypto is getting hammered. Okay. Silver. Here's what happens in silver. And I don't know why this is. But what happens is, as COMEX inventories continue to drop, it feels like every time a false breakout happens above this particular fib extension line that's here, like every time it fails, they kill it. They just attack it. Because, I mean, the last time I saw silver going up like this, I was like, wow, it's going to the moon. Now, that said, silver is making a nice little glide. No, there's nothing nice about it. It's getting hammered. But the 62% retracement of the up move, at 20. So I'm interested in silver at this point. I mean, they have washed everything and everybody out, and this was kind of a prior high zone. So if they puke this out, okay, so the dollar did not get this right. You know, luckily I did see some research last night that, you know, they kind of set me straight about the dollar going to like 105, 106, which is probably what's going to happen, right? So this is the January high in the dollar. Back when I basically professed that there's no reason to own the dollar, and I hate it. They pounded the table a little bit too much on that. It's okay. Okay to be wrong. You may not think so because you come to me for research, but I can show you how to be wrong and how to recover. Okay, this is a 4-hour chart at DXY. All right. So I guess that what they're going to do is they're going to take it up to 105.70. They're going to take it and they're going to print 106, and then sellers are going to show up. That's a guess. So hidden pivot work would indicate that, you know, 106 would be a good target for the dollar. That's why I think you could just have one of these hysterical things where if this rally fails into the close of equities, that, you know, people could like maybe get upset over the weekend or on Monday. Okay. How to survive, how to buy dips, how to let the market come to you. Let the market come to you. Make them sell it to you at a good price. Okay. People think bull markets are like, oh, well, you know, bull markets are easy. We just sit around and watch everything go up. Yeah, there are moments of that. But this is when they shake you out and mess your head up. So I want to buy a dip. I just don't want to buy the first dip. I'd rather adjust risk, wait to see if the 14K Bitcoin crowd actually has a case, and then act accordingly. Okay. Okay. Somebody said something about MATIC. Okay. Okay. Big Rich is like Optimism is running. Okay. SNX is up. All right. Well, let's do Optimism over here. That's got to be on the Coinbase news. You know, kudos to the small coin guys. You know, they liked this. They liked this before people liked it. And is there a need for a better layer 2 after my experience with MATIC? Not, you know, that's anecdotal, not technological or technical. Although MATIC was the top, right? The euphoria over MATIC was the top. So Optimism should find resistance. Okay. Resistance in Optimism is at 326. So always be careful about celebrating relative outperformance when something is at resistance, just in case, so you can see where this came from. You know, this is called hidden pivot analysis. Pretty much, this is the trend, that's the correction, and this is where it should extend to. So, you know, Optimism went exactly where you would think it would go. Don't chase something up 11%. Okay. Okay. Metabyte's giving me some good advice on how to use a layer 2. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. Wrong again is saying best way to buy gold and silver locally. Okay, well, this is not investment advice, but I can tell you the two places where I've bought physical gold 1 ounce coins: Gainesville Coins and Tex Metals. It's hard to see, but these guys are so smart that they've copyrighted the word Texas as it relates to precious metals. So nobody else can call themselves Texas Precious Metals. I've actually been at the facility when I went to pick up silver coins from my daughter. I finally found the Austria Philharmonic coins that are made in Europe that have a notional value of €1. I said, in the event all the ATMs go down, walk into a coin shop and try to get, you know, 15 or 20 euros per coin in the event of, you know, a snowstorm in San Diego. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I do locally, right? Daniel J is like, local in Austin better than Tito's. Yes. Anything is better than Tito's, it seems like. Daniel J says MATIC is $100 long term. Let's check that out. Okay. Before we do, all right, Solana on support. Support was 23. They ran the stops. This could be a very telling candle here. So if you were a short seller, you would sell on this candle, betting that this negative DeMark work kicks in. Be great if this reversed. And I'm telling you, people, you heard this last year. Beware the failed rally. Period. Okay. You see a rally fail, you act accordingly. Okay, so MATIC, what happened? Well, aside from the fact that, you know, everyone loved it, you know, 13 top, who cares? They took it up. This is clearly a 5 wave, right? So the count in MATIC went something like, you know, the bottom was actually in June, right? It went 1, then you had this like 2, 3. The 4 wave bottom was at the end of the year, and then 5 wave buying climax. And again, very impressive. This thing retraced half of its down move, right? Let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, this thing got close to its 50% retracement. Okay, now what's it doing? Well, let's go back to the sequential. So this new high was not confirmed because all the DeMark indicators made lower highs. This is like their RSI, stochastic. So big new high, lower highs in the momentum indicator. And it looks like if it takes out 126, you could have 5 more down days. I don't think it's a bad thing if they wash this out. What I do think is important is to notice that down here at 30 cents, it was the apocalypse. At $1.50, they were taking over the world, and they actually made the top by laying off 20% of their staff in the middle of their FOMO. Their coins FOMO, they made the top. Now, about MATIC going to $100. It's crypto. I would love it if MATIC went to $100. They got to get through $1.50 first. That's a big DeMark point. Okay. 2 more up weeks is still possible. So if they smash it this week, they can still have 2 more up weeks. God, it'd be so great if we could just ignore this fake Fed fear. Triple F, fake Fed fear. Now, if we look at, say, a monthly chart of MATIC, this is your second of 9 up months, right? And if you look at the month of February, MATIC is still up. Still up. So I gave the coin a hard time, but MATIC is still up. Bitcoin is unchanged. People are like, oh my God, the sky is falling. It's unchanged for the month. It's unchanged. Okay, so Polkadot. Okay. Here was the 13 top. Here was the blow off top level. They did a wonderful job smoking everybody here. Okay. And now you could have up to 5 more down days before this thing hits a 9 bottom, right? That's pretty much the way everything is going to look. Now, probably on a 90-minute chart, okay, there was support at 668. They crashed it. They came back. If it gets above there, I'd be so happy. If not, adjust your portfolio. Make portfolio adjustments now. You are always free on the show. We will help you in any set of circumstances, but it's better to make adjustments now than when ETH at 1330. Okay. Interesting 4-hour chart in NEAR. Okay. Like if there was anything that I want to look at when they really kill this market, it's NEAR. Mainly because of this like bigger the base to higher into space thing. I mean, Jesus. People are like, oh, the market's going to zero. Bro, the market's already been to zero. It's been to zero. Okay, enough. SNX. Okay, Synthetix up, but treading water, right? Here was the 13 top on the daily chart. And now they can't figure out what they want to do. Like, they're stuck here. This is not a 3-wave or a 4-wave. It's not anything. Let's go to a 4-hour chart. The range is 252 to 281 until further notice. Notice how they love doing these stop fishing exercises, which brings me to a point that I have been making for the last 2 days, right? Market goes up. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's going to the moon. Market goes down. ETH below 1600. Everybody goes, oh my God, and they sell. And meanwhile, like the range traders, they're waiting for you up here, and then they're waiting for you to puke it out down here. Now, it's a P&L destruction environment. Okay? If you need to sell, sell on green. If you need to buy, buy on red. Don't let the counter traders eat your lunch, especially if this thing is broadly in a range, whether this is the range, this is Solana, or, like this is the range, right? Like there are guys, I was on a show with a guy last night and be like, yeah, this is the range, 9 to 24. He wasn't talking about Solana, but, there's dudes who think, okay, this was the run to the top end of the range. And then now we're going to go back and run to the bottom end of the range. I respect other people's analysis. You have to respect people who think differently than you do. Okay? So, in Solana on the daily chart, there was the 13 top, the 9 top, and they announced the phone. So here it was dead. Here it's the next Apple. And reality is somewhere in the middle. I like 1973 as a support point. Big Rich says, I'm a counter trader. Good. We want the counter traders and the trend traders all on the show. I just don't want the trend traders. I had some guy on Twitter going, I just can't sell. Okay. I'm just like, don't get dogmatic. Don't get married to anything. You have to be flexible in order to make money in bull markets. Even if it's not a bull market, you still got to be flexible, right? The difference between being flexible, okay, and following the herd. Flexibility means, you can be, okay, it's up, let me take profits, it's down, let me buy some. And if you sold ETH at 1750, you could take a shot at 1600 if that's your style of trading. I tend to think more about the trends because I think the people listening to me are like retail and hedge fund investors who want to catch big moves. So audio, 13 top, right? Careful about celebrating outperformance into resistance when the market is in one of its Fed fear modes. Okay. I mean, Audius TikTok partnership, I think I've seen that news before. So I'm glad Audius is not trading in the single digits anymore. Did it actually get down there? Yeah. Or yeah, maybe 12 cents. This is like swing trader take profits. When you start seeing all the high-end coins, no, right? The stuff that outperforms at resistance and topping. Yesterday, I was kind of picking on NVIDIA in the stock market. I actually got a couple big guys on Twitter come in and tell me I was full of it, but that's okay. Hey, they came and visited. It's cool. Okay. Spin says looking more like a bottom retest on many charts. Possibly, right? Okay, we have Holland in the house. Sam says, op in a way. All right. Optimism doing well. Just keep in mind, generally speaking, if you have a position and you find yourself wearing a lampshade on your head, going, oh my God, I can't believe how much money I'm making, that is usually the sell point. That is the sell point. Okay. All right. Avalanche, breaking my heart. So this DeMark work is not good. It's not good on the daily chart. Okay. It's much easier to stomach on the 4-hour chart because this looks like a clear 9 bottom. Now, again, with 9 bottoms, beware the failed rally, right? If you're supposed to get a counter trend move, so down 9. Now, if it's a range, it'll go back up. But if it goes up and fails, then you could have a larger trend start. Now, this thing has a partnership with Amazon. I just cannot believe people are going to get all negative about this when really all it's doing is retracing. You cannot have a move in any market from 10 to 21 and have no retracement. No retracement. Look, I mean, again, oh my God, it's at a 38% retracement. It's decent support in Avalanche. Like, coconut water to my head. What would you buy today? Avalanche. I would take a shot. There's also the idea of sector rotation. Like this probably is the best looking chart I've seen all day. You had a 13 bottom, a 9 bottom. And if this is not a failed rally, I think this could go up. So each chart is different. And again, this is classic, right? It's sector rotation on the way up. And it's, optimism up 10%. Everyone's selling something else. Bull markets are messy. You know what? I'm going to stop saying it and I'm going to show you. It's going to take a while. Not a while, but this is how you know that, you're over the age of 30 when you have to scroll back 6 times to get to an S&P chart where you were trading when you were 30. Okay. So these are the down moves during the 2009, 2010 era. So here's two big red weeks, one with a huge failed rally. Okay. This was the Greece trade. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ugly red candles. Okay. 2010 January was 1, 2, 3 ugly red candles. So when the market was coming off of its low, you got grotesque corrections. And every time there was a correction, you were afraid that this was the end again. Okay. When the reality was the Fed was there with QE. Now, obviously, there's no Fed QE here. I get that. There's no Fed QE here. While we're here, let's just look at the S&P chart. But what there is people who have to come out of stable coins and into big cap cryptos. Okay, so this trend line is everywhere, right? Equities currently kind of going through it. You know, for all of the hysteria about the Fed, equities they're just traveling in like a parallel box. And they're breaking through the bottom of the box. So maybe that's, maybe that's the sign of a much larger decline. Or you're going to wake up in early March, just like you did in 2009. All the retail traders will have sold out and they have all gotten short, and then it'll go up. I mean, what we have not talked about today is crypto as an alternative asset, right? I mean, in a world where they're selling everything, you're either on a sequel to The Big Short and you're headed for an event. Okay. Or you can decide, well, when everything is down, what do I want to buy? The answer to that is the future of money and technology, and that's crypto. I just want my listeners to be there. Spin says, don't go hard on yourself about the age thing. It's Friday. Yeah, I gotta use the age thing as a joke every now and then, right? It's just not a lot of guys out there my age, so it's actually kind of cool. It is cool. Like my job at Emerging Asset Group and my job on this YouTube channel is cool, right? It's not easy, but it's cool. Huckleberry Native, welcome, right? Thomas, always try. Timothy, Velodrome, please. Okay, so I got to go to 89-minute chart with this. Okay, like so many coins, today has just been a simple retracement, right? So for all of the Fed, oh my God, whatever it is the algos are doing today, for all the mess, stuff is just retraced. It's a normal, this is an absolutely normal retracement. And whatever this is, people want it down here. No, you don't want a failed rally into the close. You don't, right now, S&P is down about 1%. If it stayed that way, that's great. If it completely pukes out into the close, okay, so there's the zoom view of S&P. Not exactly thrilling that little failed rally occurred. Let's go over here to DeMark. So since we're on during the close, we might as well look at the close. Okay. So the good news is there's DeMark support at 393 in SPY. We discussed that. Okay. The bad news is this DeMark work is showing 4 more down days. So that's like not exciting. And we're also on a 9 bottom. We got the counter trend rally, and now it got dropped again. Like people are too bearish in stocks. Short term, this could be over, but that's the 90-minute chart. The 4-hour chart, I mean, the rallies are failing at resistance points from the DeMark systems, and support is way down here. So I think the order of operations are make adjustments on upticks. I have no problem with people coming on the stream and going, Bill, you weren't bullish enough, right? Or, you know, I raised cash when I should have stayed long. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with getting back into the market. What I'm not okay is like listening to some of the smart people I was talking to last night talking about much lower prices than 1482 and then coming on the stream and being dogmatic and not being humble, right? So Jody from South Carolina is here, right? Wrong again, same age as me. Excellent. Love to have you on the show, man. Seriously. Okay. So Carlos says, so is putting a short on in BTC. Okay. Well, that's definitely investment advice. Okay. Shorting, particularly using leverage, is something I don't talk much about. Okay. You know, if you look at Bitcoin on the daily chart, right, you could have 5 more down days and resistance is at 23,452. Okay. So like when I look at this and I see that 5-wave top, the DeMark momentum indicator didn't make a new high when price did. You know, if you want to be short, I will leave that to you. I will give you technical support point. For people who are like organically long, you need to check yourself so you don't wreck yourself. All right. D says, if you're old, I'm, is that Methusa? I don't know. Okay. What about Chainlink? So Chainlink is stuck, right? Between like 7.5 and 8 on the DeMark work. You know, all of these things show a percolating downtrend with like 5 more days down. You know, the 4-hour chart looks like a failed rally, right? They got the reversal. You know, you've got like downtrendish things happening, right? Like fear of being short, you know, be careful of the failed rally. You know, people who were watching the show in 2022, I had this like whole roadmap for how bear markets can act. Right now, it's like, okay, you know, I'm afraid to be short, so I'll cover. But if everybody covers and then liquidators or people who are adjusting portfolios are out there, obviously, I mean, again, you know, you say, oh, well, if you look at this, I shouldn't sell. But then if you look at this and go, okay, well, Chainlink was at, you know, 5 and then it went to 8. It's okay to pay yourself if you did a good trade and not have to deal with this if stonks lose it, if they lose it over there. Q Boyd says we are all young whippersnappers. You know, wouldn't it be great when they have the metaverse and I can be a young whippersnapper in there as long as I can talk? That is going to happen. The person who created Notorious Bill has got Oculus glasses and is talking about building the kingdom. Notorious. I'm not notorious enough on the stream. Okay. That's because I'm trying to give you all the best TA I can. All right. Let's sum this up. Bull markets shake people out. They shake people out. Everyone gets in. Everyone thinks it's great. And then everyone gets wasted. Now, it could be the return of something ugly. Let's not go there yet. Let's just be in a mindset where we're preserving capital. We're taking profits in things that have 3x. And if we did bad trades, we're going to cut those losses. Not investment advice. We're going to be smart. Next week, we're going to dive deep into where support is. Right now, it pretty much revolves around ETH at 1,600, Solana around 20, and the best looking chart I saw today was Avalanche. So that's the market update. This is Bill Noble. I'll see you next time.